Welcome along to Footy Park for the official start of the Crows 2021 campaign. Red v Blue in an internal trial. I'm joined by two-time Premiership captain Mark Bickley. Bix, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Will. And we're away. Business start of the season. It's great to see the game underway.
Riley O'Brien starting as he finished, wins the first tap, comes out towards Chase Jones on the wing. Has a moment to gather himself with the left hand, gets it to Schomburg, one of the real improvers last year. He wins the footy forward for Blue. It's cut off by Tom Lynch, though. Kicks out towards the wing. Magnificent use of the footy, Lynch. McHenry, his first touch. Running on was Lynch, but it'll drop just shy of him. An opportunity for Red to go inside 50 now. Well, Hately was sold into all sorts of trouble. They'll go deep inside forward 50 now, kicking up towards the top of the square, but Jones drops back and cuts it off. Looks like he's put on a bit of weight, Chase Jones.
Yeah, his body shape is looking really good. And look, I heard Matthew Nick say they're really going to try and settle him down. It looks like he's going to settle on the wing, which I guess plays to most of his strengths.
Certainly does. He's Barry. Real show for round one. Underager last year, but it's coming to calculations with a strong pre-season. McHenry wins the football. True centre half forward. There's a quick snap shot on goal, and it just sneaks in for the one behind. First score of the day. Red underway, not the fancied side when we had a quick look at the two squads to start us off.
Yeah, it's interesting. One of the sides got a lot of good forwards in it, and they're opposed to most of the first-choice backmen, so they're, I guess, looking at how they perform against each other. But, yeah, Red getting away to a nice start.
Here's James Ball Ace.
Beautiful size Ball Ace, isn't he? A big man for 18 and going to be watched very closely by Crows fans. Next
generation Academy selection for the Crows. Booms a kick up the wing. Butts underneath it. O'Brien and Strawn go at it. Fisted away. Opportunity now for a Blue to win the football. A little bit of an errant handball. Came from Crouch. Little stab kick into the middle. Not the intended target. Finds Seedsman in the end. Hately goes in. Was he tackled high? Umpire says play on. Newchurch with an early touch. Now Seedsman. He's wrapped up. Little right foot dribbler. No good. Jones has it now for Blue. And they'll come away again. Laird. Bit of experience back there for this Blue side. Up the wing. Here's Billy Frampton. Just infringing there. Jordan Butts, Bix.
Yeah, Jordan Butts got a big opportunity, hasn't he? We know that Daniel Tarley, there's some doubt whether he might come up in round one. So Butts got an introduction last year, but looking to maybe consolidate a spot with the absence of Kyle Hardigan.
Now, if you look at either ends of the ground, you'll see a very different picture. Expectation often in these sorts of games is you're going to get possibles v probables. Well, at one end of the ground, you've got the likely forward line against the likely back line. Blue has the likely forward line. Walker there, just kept away from him. Lynch applying some pressure. The ball goes out of bounds and it's thrown in. A little touch there to Will Hamill, who he too looks like he's had a little bit of bulk. But at the other end of the ground, you're going to see some development. So, different story at both ends of the ground.
Yeah, look, and that's going to be the story for Adelaide all year. I think we're going to see Thilthorpe and Mackesy and some of these players get some opportunities to put themselves up against some of the AFL's good players.
Hately's got a couple of early touches on his right foot, kicks it up towards the contested marking situation. Good gather by Himmelberg, doing a little bit of roving. McHenry with another early touch. Davis applying pressure to him, falls on top of him. McHenry, wonderful endeavour, won the football really well. Red outnumbered. Hately another touch. Newchurch just fumbled it. Like to have that moment back. Ball Ace has done all right mopping up in the back line in the early stages here. Comes out towards Scholl. Huge expectations on Lockie Scholl this year.
Yeah, look, one of the things that Adelaide have struggled with is their pace and elite ball users. So you've got blokes like Scholl and Hamill that you'd really love to see get involved this year and become regular players.
Matt Crouch wants a lead-up option. Didn't quite get what he was after out in that outer wing. What would have been the old western side of the footy park, the members' grandstand. Kick inside 50. Hamill flying back with the pack, fists it away. Tackle applied, goes in again. Hamill, Frampton on his 6. Just sees it out of bounds in that left-hand forward pocket for Blue. Will get a throw in.
Yeah, it's been interesting so far. As you'd expect, first hit out, there's been some handballs that have missed the mark. There's been a few fumbles, been a bit of pressure around the place. But, yeah, quite a bright opening.
Going to get enough continuity today, Bix, with the guys out there to get a sense of any changes that have been made to the way they want to move the football. Do you reckon you'll be able to glean anything from that, or is this simply just a battle for places at this point in time?
Yeah, I think what often happens in games like this, particularly when both sides know exactly how the opposition wants to play. So they're overplaying some of the spots they want to get to on the ground. But yeah, generally it's more about the way people compete and their appetite for the contest.
Really clean hands. Rory Sloane wheeled around on his right and he has the first goal of the day. Classic Rory Sloane.
And I guess that's one of the things that Adelaide really need this year. I think they would have been disappointed last year with I guess the form, the continuity of blokes like Sloan and Walker, Tom Lynch, a lot of those guys were in and out of the side. They didn't really get fully fit for a number of reasons. Matt Crouch spent some time out of the main side last year, so I think it's really important if you're going to have a lot of youngsters coming through the side, those experienced players, and particularly Sloan, of course, the skipper, needs to have a really, really solid year.
For officiating umpires today, AFL umpires doing their pre-season as well. There's some rule changes we'll be keeping a bit of an eye on over the course of the morning as well. And a really nice atmosphere here at Footy Park. The cool changes we mentioned came through, and it's made a really pleasant sort of a morning, albeit it's a little hot in the sun. It's going to getting hotter. But we've got all the families here from all the Crows players that were able to travel. They're here watching along. Often some are seeing their kids for the very first time in Crows colours.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic. So you've got the families of the players. You've also got a lot of the past players and officials here. They were also invited, which is great. And a bit of a shout-out, too, for unfortunately, some of the families in other states who were slated to be coming, but unfortunately weren't able to do it through the restrictions with COVID. So if you're tuning in, welcome and enjoy the coverage.
Keys had a clearance, and you saw Sam Berry going in really hard. Suspect that'll be a feature of his game going to the future.
Oh, no doubt. That's one of the reasons they were able to, they wanted to draft him, is his competitiveness. He's played against men before, so we've seen some of the highlights packages. He had 18 tackles in one game, I think, which is quite staggering. So his appetite for the contest, and we know that Matthew Nix has talked about how important that is for Adelaide. He's going to be a very important player.
Boobin kept right up the centre, looking for Strawn. Almost a good mark taken. Not paid there. Little left footer inside forward 50. Walker leads out. Didn't win at that time. Out the back to Mackesy. Little left-handed handball. Stab up the wing. Mark's taken by Pedler, that is. Looks a lot like Sam Berry out there. You can tell him, but he's got that little bit of shoulder strapping. Had an injury-interrupted season last year. And Red now with another opportunity deep inside 50. It's Himmelberg and Borlase. Borlase did just well enough, fisted it out of bounds. We're going to throw it in that right-hand forward pocket for Red.
And that is the ball movement, I'm sure, that Matty Nix is talking about. That's a short pass out of defence. It's a handball to a player running through. That was Seedsman. Seedsman's going to be important as well. Fell out of favour last year, but we know he's got AFL attributes. His run and carry. He's an elite ball user. He kicks goals from the wing, and they were able to create that one-on-one up forward. And Borlase was pretty handy on Himmelberg.
Did well. Ben Keys in the recently vacated number 2 jumper wins the football there. Wing on that check side, Tavern side. Strawn came across. Just provided a bit of a chop out. Played one game last year, Kieran Strawn against North.
Yep.
Be hoping to add to that this year, albeit it's tough when the club champion plays ahead of you in your role.
Yeah, not ideal, but look, he's continuing to develop. Lots of good feedback in terms of his ruck work and his touch, which is always important, but still needs to put some weight on, doesn't he? I'm surprised, he is actually 25, 26 years of age. You think of him because he hasn't played, he might be still a young man, but he's a mature age recruit, so yeah, maybe getting a few kilos on is the next challenge for him.
Here he is battling with the aforementioned club champ, O'Brien. Right foot up and under kick, just sends it inside forward 50 for Red. Paddled around, no mark paid there. They fall on top of it. Football in a contested situation, that right forward pocket. Comes out to Scholl, uses it well. Want to see a bit of this man this year. Wayne Miller evades a couple of tackles. Bit of classic Wayne Miller. Unfortunately sold his teammate into trouble with the handball. Now out in that right hand half forward flank. Red will kick it up towards a dangerous position. Himmelberg underneath it, fisted away. Again, the blue defence holding up strong. Yeah,
you mentioned Wayne Miller. It's going to be really interesting to see how he is used. It's whether it's across half-back, whether they look to play him through the midfield, or he's even played a little bit half-forward. But for me, it's got to be that combination of midfield and half-back. We expect Laird's going to spend more time in the middle. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Brodie Smith this year. He was trialled through the middle. So now you've at least got some options with some really classy ball users across half-back.
Himmelberg involved in the ruck work. Scrappy stuff, deep in attack for the Red team. Umpire taking a long time to blow the whistle. In fact, the ball does come out. Tackle applied by Haitley. Like Laird might have got a touch in there. Left foot kick comes out towards that outer wing size. Good work with the body on Frampton, on Mackesy. Managed to win the ball for Blue, who'll go forward now. Walker, this is his third flight at the football. And Butts has done really well. He's competed with him in the air.
Yeah, and what he's able to do is even that really good ball use there, but he's right next to him. He's got that good turn of speed off the mark, which enabled him just to get a hand in there. And once again, that was an important win, because if Walker marks that, he turns around and he's got Fogarty in about 60 metres of space, which would have been nice to see.
Strawn again, continues his battle. Out of sight, Keys gets the football.
Laird
again, right side forward 50. Butts leading Walker to the football this year. Geez, he thought Walker was on his 6, I suspect. Fumbled what he might have taken. Brodie Smith coming out of defence. That's a terrific kick. Opens up the ground magnificently. Hately has the football now on his right foot. Geez, he shinned that one. Didn't go anywhere near where he was intending. Himmelberg made it look better than it was in the end. Little handball forward. They're going to run into an open goal here, Red, if they muck this up. McHenry, geez, he's tried his best. He's dummies around 3 of them, and eventually he's managed to put it through. Bix, is that a pre-season manoeuvre we just saw there?
Well, look, it's hard not to like Ned McHenry in terms of his enthusiasm and the way he goes about his footy, but sometimes he does make it look a little bit more difficult than it needs to be. But in the end, he couldn't have to do all of that. But it was good work by the Red team, and it's all set up by one player, and that's Brodie Smith across half-back. He was able to... I guess that weapon he has is his leg, and he's able to kick that 35 metres, a really fast pass that gets there quickly, and that just unlocked the front half of the ground for the Red team, and they had players bursting through. There ended up being a 3-on-1. So even if McHenry didn't kick it himself, he could have handballed to a player loose in the goal square.
It's an encouraging passage. How many times were we in the call last year lamenting the ball use, the slow ball use off half-back? And it was because there wasn't guys necessarily through injury or other things like Brodie Smith who can use the ball and unlock the field, as we just saw there. A really promising sign. Like mine, this bloke either. Berry, little handball. Errant. Wayne Miller gathers it. Has a moment and kicks long inside 50. Wants Frampton to fly. Walker just caught underneath it a bit. Butts read it really well. Butts started particularly strongly. Fogarty picks it up, sharing the forward line with Walker. Gets it out to him. Tex unselfish on the right. Finds Lockie Scholl. The opposing forward pocket. Just had time and space.
Well, look, that's the value of Taylor Walker and just experience, isn't it? Because he could have easily looked at the goals. He's a great exponent of that sort of banana dribble kick, which would have been the one in play there. But before he unloaded with that, he just had a little look inside, and there was a player there on his own, and as usual, very, very good ball use from Taylor Walker.
We can mark this down, can't we, Bix? I mean, commentators' curses don't apply to pre-season.
No, he wouldn't have thought so. He's a Monty from here, surely.
Yep, Lockie Scholl on his right. Not much work required from the goal umpire. And he has Blues first. Makes it 1-1 to 1 goal. Red leading by just that one behind.
Yeah, it's a good work by Fogarty in there as well. You know, a lot of expectation on Darcy this year. He looks like he's in good condition, which is a really big start for him. And now he just needs to, I guess, work really hard and create some opportunities in that forward half. That it's going to be an interesting mix. And I think what we'll see a number of taller players play through there. Of course, Riley Thilthorpe, there's a lot of expectation around him. I think he will have a managed year this year. I don't expect, if you're a Crows fan, to see Riley playing 18 to 20 games. I think it's much more likely to be between 8 and 12, and there'll be some times where he'll need a rest. And even in terms of when he plays his first game, I'm not sure they'll be rushing him if he's not quite right to get there in round one. So there's an element of control there. Of course, you've got Himmelberg, who showed some great signs last year. You've got Walker and you've got Fogarty. So I think we'll see variance on that combination.
Commentators pre-season too. Yeah, I discounted a Sloan goal. 2 goals to 1-1. Nice work, Berry and Pedler combined there. Terrific mark, though, taken deep in defence. I just note Riley Thilthorpe has just adopted a position deep forward, picked up by James Borlase, so he's rotating with Himmelberg for the red side. We'll see him at that end of the ground. Blue controlling it now, just on that check side, tavern wing side. Matt Crouch called to play on, and his left foot chips it up the wing, combines with Keys like they did so many times throughout the 2020 season. Matt Crouch ended the season 4th in the Malcolm Blight medal, 5th in disposals per game. And I think a lot of people would suggest it wasn't his best season, Matt Crouch.
Oh, particularly the first half of the year. His second half of the year, he was rated as well as any midfielder in the competition, but he actually found himself out of the side, which is quite unbelievable. All-Australian midfielder being dropped from the team. But to his credit, went back, got himself in good form and came back and was very important.
Geez, I like that from Pedler, Bex. That was really class. He used his body to win the football, picked it up with one hand, gets it back, and manages to lace out his teammate in Ace Taylor.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he kicked it on his non-preferred there. That's his right foot. I'm almost certain he's a left footer. So, look, he is someone that Adelaide loved. They targeted him in the draft. There was a lot of interest from a couple of other clubs. GWS reportedly were going to take him if Adelaide didn't take him. So, it's great to see him do what he's doing. You having a chuckle there?
Yeah, I'm having a chuckle, and I'll tell you why. It's because it's Lockie Gollan that's taken the mark. His body shape is that different. There's 2 44s out there playing in this game, and I looked down and thought, well, that's got to be Ace Taylor. It's not. Lockie Gollan has put on an extraordinary amount of weight, 13 kilos he's added. He's largely unrecognisable. On his right, Kicked a really terrific goal early in the pre-season against Port Adelaide last year. Not one there. That's just a little behind his tug to the near side.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, putting on 13 kilos for some people, not for most of us.
Well, I mean, people talk about it like it's an achievement. I achieved that in my first 4 weeks of university.
Yeah, I could probably do that in the pre-season as well, without trying too hard.
Wasn't getting around as much as Lockie Golan, I suspect. Strong mark, Taylor Walker, up on the wing. Here's Josh Worrell. He's got the flashes haircut at the club at the moment. Little left foot kick. Lockie Murphy. Interested to see what role Worrell plays long term. Plays both ends. Murphy's kick, not a great one, and it's chopped off by Jake Kelly in defence for the Red.
Yeah, we saw Murphy play a little bit down back late last year as well, and I just wonder with his pressure skills and his enthusiasm where they might settle him. But it looks as if he has. He certainly started in the front half today. So
promising moment. Thilthorpe's first flight at the football, certainly better than his first kick of the football. It took a terrific mark in front of Borlase there, but just didn't quite use it as he would have liked. Still, promising sign. Geez. Barry was good on the football there, picked it up, gets it to Newchurch on his right. He's just pulled it across the face. Tariq Newchurch, another NGA selection. The bloke that lays claim to having the best YouTube highlights clip that's ever been compiled, Biggs.
And we just saw a glimpse of it there, not so much in the finish because the kick wasn't to the level that he would have liked, but it was the explosiveness, the speed. He could see that Barry was going to pick the ball up and he was on his bike. And before you knew it, he was 2 metres goal side and ready to receive the ball. And unfortunately, didn't reward himself with the finish.
A little bit sloppy in defence there from Blue coming out. We'll get a throw in that left-hand forward pocket up against the West development. Don't know if anyone's living in those places over there at the moment, but geez, they've got a good view of the action this morning.
It'd be nice sitting out in your balcony, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely magnificent. Has a real English countryside feel to it. Thilthorpe doing a little bit of ruck work with O'Brien now. Ball one down to the front. Little handball over the back, only finds Keys. We'll repeat the action again in just a moment. It's a nervous moment for Thilthorpe, wouldn't it? Because there's so much expectation on a guy that comes in. When you're the highest pick the club's ever had, all eyes are on you. How many people are tuning in today because they want to see a Thilthorpe or a Pedlar?
Yeah, of course they are. And, you know, the other thing about Riley is, having met him once or twice, puts enormous pressure on himself as well because he wants to be great. And that's one of the reasons I think the recruiters are so excited. He wants to be good and he's prepared to do all the work to be good. So Adelaide fans should be very excited about his future.
Schomburg to Jimmy Rowe and they go forward. Oh, McAdam flew! He used Fogarty as a stepladder, got up high and takes one of what we expect will be many big hangers this season. Miller now has it, drives a footy inside 50, low, it's a terrific kick. And it's a fantastic mark that gets taken as well. It's Chase Jones.
Well, I can almost guarantee if you tune into any news service tonight, that'll be the highlight for the day. That is a spectacular mark from McAdam. And we saw that last year. Within 3 weeks, I think he had 2 or 3 nominations for Mark of the Year and Goal of the Year. And looks a little bit fitter. He knows the expectations now to play at AFL level. He has got a big year ahead of him.
He's got some sturdy step ladders in his forward line to work with as well. They might prefer he uses the opposition occasionally, but here's Chase Jones. Can't finish it off. Deserved a goal for the passage of play.
Yeah, the other things to mention there, Walker with a nice pass to Miller, and Miller's kick to Jones was outstanding. So that's what Adelaide need. They've missed that sort of precise ball movement. So when you've got the ball in the hands of some of these players who are great kicks, it just makes life so much easier. Red
come out, defensive 50. Gone to Tav, really attacking a couple of times. Wanted Himmelberg. He really did well. Crumbed his own work. Got it to McHenry. He's had a few touches early in this first quarter. Liked his endeavour. Matt Crouch wins it now. Gets it to Worrell, playing behind the football on his left. Drives it up. Wants a marking target. Fogarty was caught just under the football. Some terrific crumbing work's done here. And a lot of right foot snap.
That'll loop.
And goal. Is that? It certainly is Jimmy Rowe. That's what he's been brought in for, Bix. That's what we've seen him do for the Eagles in the Sandful. Share of the Ken Farmer last year. He's an excitement machine. It's like shelling peas.
Well, that's it. And that's exactly why a lot of people are suggesting that he's a real chance to play round one because he's just, I guess, shown it so consistently for a number of years now at Sandful level. And that's exactly what he does. He gets in the right spots. He's got the ability to finish. And it's just a bit of a point of difference to some of the other small forwards that Adelaide have had. Adelaide have had other small forwards that have been able to put pressure on, like Lockie Murphy, amongst others. But Jimmy Rowe, he has 3 or 4 shots at goal every week, and he is a very good shot. So well done to him. The first couple of touches in the first couple of minutes were handballs that just looked a little bit nervous, but that one there was a quality finish. So he'll be that'll settle the nerves and no doubt make him feel good.
Well, pressure on Jimmy Rowe for a different reason, really. When you think you could expect coming in as as a pick in the 30s, you can largely go incognito, but he's well known to people who watch the Sandful. He's come in, the club said he's a real chance to play round one, so it's a bit on him to show something here. He certainly did in his early contribution there. Billy Frampton has the ball on broadcast side wing. On his right foot, kicks it up once. Walker flew, butts with a fist to it. Comes to the back of the pack. Mackesy read it really well.
Nice.
Gets it to Berry now. He's been busy. Hately too. I don't mind this young red midfield. They've made a real fist of it. Speaking of fist, good one there. Gollant goes out to try and lend some support, and the ball runs out of bounds. True centre wing on the West Lakes Food Court wing.
Yeah, I actually think the red side have actually moved the ball better.
Yeah.
A lot of the entries into the blue forward line have been a bit more static and have gone to big packs. And, there's been some class, a big mark by McAdam and some nice work by Walker and a crumbing goal. But I think red have probably rebounded a bit better and created a few more opportunities to their forwards. Their forwards probably just haven't been able to make the most of them just yet.
Schonberg with a kick to Millerer.
Good
starting in a
signs
forward
from him.
position.
Yeah, just starting to find the footy as well, which is great. And
that's a magnificent kick. Tees up Fogarty.
that's what he does.
And he, in turn, just hits Taylor Walker and responding to the criticism of the two-time premiership captain, the blue side, just moved the football inside 450 magnificently.
Yeah, that's what you expect when you get those quality players and quality ball users again. And anything I say, it's always bittersweet when you go to an internal trial because you almost say it was just a little bit easy, wasn't it, for the blue team? It was Millerer to Fogarty, who was 3 metres clear of his man. He wheels around and Walker's 3 metres clear of his man. There's no sort of numbers pushed back by red. So anyway, good work by blue. Let's pay attention to that.
Just inside 50, Walker on his right makes no mistake whatsoever and adds to the blue tally. Walker following in the footsteps of Rowe, Sloan and Lockie Shull, the 4th goal kicker for Blue on the day. Intrigued about where Wayne Miller is going to play his football this year, Bix, because suddenly the half-back line is a real competition for spots. A couple of blokes came on last year, a couple of others you'd expect to play more footy. Will Hamill, McPherson and others of that ilk. We know Rory Laird made the move into the midfield. Brodie Smith. There's a whole host of guys with real talent that we expect to fill those positions. So where does Wayne Miller fit in?
Look, I think it's a combination of about 3 or 4 of those players, wing, half-back, a bit of time through the middle when needed, but Seedsman can play across half-back, so can Miller, so can Smith. But you also want those guys in the front half because when they get it, they're then delivering to your forwards, and the forwards, if they can get separation, particularly Fogarty and Walker, who are leading forwards. They're sort of more old-fashioned, aren't they? They're not clunking big pack marks as often as others, so they need, if they can get separation, good ball users to service them.
Feels like a little bit of breeze just blowing up, maybe blowing across the ground, so it might affect anything beyond kicking at goal. Kick inside forward 50. Geez, that was all a little bit easy. Came to McAdam, wheels around on his right and hits the post. One behind to McAdam opening up his account for the day.
Yeah, Red's got it in really quickly. Tommy Lynch hadn't seen a lot of the footy so far, been starting on the wing, so a bit of a new role for him. Once again, I expect to make way for some of those other younger forwards to get some more opportunities.
Good mark taken by Berry. Was made to earn it a bit. He won't mind that. He likes that kind of stuff. 18 tackles against Geelong Falcons in a game last year. Suggests he doesn't mind getting his hands dirty. Here's Worrell. Love the way he gets across the turf, Worrell. Free kick here to Billy Frampton.
We've been talking a lot about the nicknames. He'd be Frankie, wouldn't he, on the back of the
you'd think
Redbacks?
so. You'd think so. To the great Redbacks quick. Strong lead out and mark. McAdam really beginning to impose himself on this contest now. 50 metres from goal, bounces to his feet, looking ahead for options. One
of the things you love about McAdam, to use a basketball vernacular, he's got that triple threat about him, hasn't he? He can run and take a specky. He's got speed to get it on the lead, and if it hits the ground, he's very quick to get on it and snap a goal.
This is the part of his game that came in for a little bit of criticism over the course of the last year. Makes no mistake that time, though. McAdam kicks a goal. Could have a couple. He's already got a screamer. He's really set himself up as having the kind of guy, Bixie, you expect to have a massive year this year.
Yeah, and once again, that it's really great work. The blue team, their forwards are on top, aren't they? You've got McAdam, who's looked really good. Walker's looked dangerous. We saw Fogarty get out and create a goal by putting it down the throat of his former skipper. James Rose got on the scoreboard as well. Miller has been down there and had some nice touches. So I think this is, I guess, one of the things to keep in mind. You're thinking about round one with Daniel Talia, some doubt, and Tom Doedee, a little bit of doubt around him. Adelaide, it's just one area they look a little bit thin, isn't it? If you think about Geelong in round one, they have Jeremy Cameron and also Tom Hawkins, which is a very daunting task. I'm hoping now that the red team, they're up against the A-grade defenders, are up against the A-grade forwards. They might fight back a bit here and see if they can make it a bit more difficult for the Blues.
Bounce down middle, first quarter action here at Footy Park. Nice to say that. Strawn did well, wins the footy, gets to his feet. Keys wraps him up. Explode onto the scene last year. Runner-up in the Malcolm Blight medal, Ben Keys. Another stoppage. This is when the fatigue will start to set in for the first time, I imagine, Bix. It probably feels like it's about 30 plus out there, although look at the young legs in Pedler. Tacked the footy with real venom. Won the free kick. Second time he's done that now. Puts his body on the line, the former PAC captain.
Yep, going with the headband as well, both him and Berry.
Makes a statement.
Kane Johnson would be very happy.
Bombs the kick up towards a dangerous position. Was rove well by Lockie Scholl, who just slung it at the deck. Interesting how they call this. Holding the ball is the decision. And it is the tackling machine himself, Sam Berry, who's won the football. The headband duo.
Yeah, this is...
The Bash Brothers combining.
This will be interesting. I think we're going to see a lot of these guys playing together for a fair while, but just a slight breeze he'll be kicking into, probably kicking from about 51 metres, so we'll get an indication of what his leg looks like. He kicks it right on 50.
Makes decent contact and, in fact, makes perfect contact. It's a goal to Sam Berry, doing his chances no harm whatsoever. He's been mighty impressive, Bix. Ability to win the football. We know we've talked about the fact he can tackle ad nauseum. 28th pick, bottom ager last year. So this is not the guy that theoretically should be the most mature of the guys that have coming through, but he's making a statement.
Yeah, you look at him and you can see he's physically ready to go. Mentally, his attitude is just get at him, which we love. And it's great to see that because I guess what a lot of people talk about, he's an inside mid, he attacks the body, he attacks the footy. Kicking hasn't been something that you say is one of his real strengths. So to see him go back and comfortably slot that from 50, that's a great sign that that's not going to be an impediment for him either.
Look, it says plenty right now that this red midfield's not really being overrun. Blue have had a couple of opportunities late in this quarter as it's dragged on, but right now you've got Berry, Pedler and Haitley in there up against Crouch, Keys and Laird. Rory Laird. So you're pretty much first pick midfield going up against two blokes who just appeared in the last national draft. They've done all right. They're holding their own as Lockie Murphy sees it out of bounds on that outer wing side.
Yeah, it's been quite an entertaining game of footy, hasn't it? It's gone up and back. We've seen plenty of goals. So, it's one thing that Adelaide didn't do all that well last year was hit the scoreboard. So, it's encouraging signs early.
Ball gets thrown in, outer wing side. It's O'Brien and Strawn going at it. Strawn back position. Mai got his hand to it. Comes away Laird, kicks inside forward 50, one-on-one. Frampton and Butts. Umpire's called out a free kick. It's going to go to Frampton, no advantage. Jimmy Rowe thought about it for a brief moment, but it'll go back to Frampton, 20 metres out directly in front.
Yeah, one of the highlights there again is the ability to take that ball away from the contest. So that's a time and space entry, and when you've got that, you look up and you've got Billy Frampton one-on-one deep inside forward 50, and if you're a defender, there's no worse feeling than being exposed like that. And unfortunately for Jordan Butts, he just got into the back of Frampton. So siren's gone, so Frampton a chance to add to the blue team's tally after the bell.
Runs in, should make no mistake, albeit a breeze just blew up momentarily. Not enough to prove any sort of a distraction to Billy Frampton. Blue finished the quarter really strong. Another goal there to Frampton.